I've got these buckets with a little bit of soap and a little bit of water. It's just dish soap. And then all you're going to do is take and, you don't have to like massively scrub it or anything. Just a little bit. What's up, my YouTube people? Thanks for coming back to see just what I do today. I greatly appreciate you clicking on this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe. You get more of these cute little puppies. See more of these cute little puppies and other animals. But as you can see, we are outside today. It's a really nice day here in Colorado. I hope you're having a great day. But today's video is going to be about my self-wicking buckets. Now, I am changing it up this year. They're not the same as last year. So I will be demoing how to make one and how to get one, an old one, like that one right there. Wait, that one right there. There we go. An old one ready for plants. Now, I am slightly changing it, but I will let you know what I changed and whatnot. But yeah, and you don't have to go out and buy expensive buckets. Well, not expensive, but buckets. You can just use an old paint bucket. Now, as you can see, I've got the paint peeled out of that one already. You just let it completely dry, and then it peels right out. Now you want to get all of the paint out as best as possible, which is what I am going to do. And then I am going to wash them so any of the toxins that were in the paint don't end up leaching into my plant and killing my plants. And this one is from last year. We will demo how to prep that one real quick. As you can see, last year's model had a pipe in it. Now if you go back and watch the other self-wicking bucket, that's how I would water it. This year, we're getting rid of that. We're not using that anymore. And I'll show you more about it in just a minute. But let me set up the tripod and I'll show you how you prep this one to put a pepper plant in it. What? You happy boy? You say hello? Okay, I've got you set up now. Hopefully I can make this video better than the first one. The sound on the first one was a little wonky. I got my little helpers. Cute little boy. My little honey. But anyways, we're going to prep this one first and plant a pepper in it. Now the first thing you want to do is get out any weeds or whatever out of it, or sticks that may have accumulated in it, and then just rough it up. Try to make sure you keep the dirt on the inside, not on the outside of your liner. Helping? You little helpers? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, now that we got that dirt all nice and loose, you want to make sure you make a little divot hole. Get your pepper. I'm using peppers today. Yes, it looks a little sad. It just needs a drink. This one is a gypsy sweet pepper. Pull it out of the pot. Rough up the roots a little bit. Stick it down in the hole. And just backfill around it. Don't steal my label, booger. Bear want to steal my label. And stick the label in there so you know what the heck it's called. And then we'll stick one of these tomato cages around it. there we go. So there's that one. I'm going to pull the rest of the paint out of these other two buckets, and we will put those together, and I'll show you how to do that. And then at the end, I will show you how we're going to water them. We're going to water them differently than we did last year. So give me just a second. Where's my helpers? Yeah. Okay, as you can see, I've got these buckets with a little bit of soap and a little bit of water. It's just dish soap. And then all you're going to do is take and, you don't have to like massively scrub it or anything. Just a little bit. To wash out any toxins that might have still been in the bucket from the paint. If you're using a paint bucket. Now, if you're using a brand new bucket, you don't have to do this part. But I'm sort of reusing these buckets rather than throwing them away. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This one had a little bit of paint in the bottom. Now you just want to get out as much as possible. Some will stay, of course, but you just want to get out as much as possible. Give it a good scrub with some soap to get out any toxins, as I said before. And then we're going to dump this in a spot where nothing grows. And we'll go back up on the porch with the pups, and I'll show you the next step in building these buckets. Okay, I have those flipped upside down, drying out a little bit. All clean and ready to go. For this next step, you're going to need a drill. This one just has a regular bit on it, but you're also going to need a paddle bit. Now, if you don't have a paddle bit, a regular bit will work just fine. You're also going to need a pair of scissors. And then some old pots. Like I'm going to use this one. And I'm also going to show you how to use some old pots like this in one. Now, I would say use coffee cans, but they don't make coffee cans like they used to. They're not solid like they used to. Now, if you have the plastic ones, you can use those. But they don't make them full metal like they used to. But anyways, and then you're also going to need some felt. Now, I'm using felt because I get that for free. This is a big, huge thing of felt that the pups are playing on that I'm going to cut to size. Now, if you don't have that, you can use a weed barrier, or you could always probably even just use an old sheet that you didn't want anymore. But yeah, so let me get the tripod set up, and I'll show you how to build this self-wicking pot. Okay, the first thing you'll want to do, now this bucket, or this old pot, will sit down inside the bucket as a water reservoir holder, sort of. First thing you want to do, now you don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but I do it, it seems to make, better water flow, is just drill a bunch of holes around the outside. In no particular manner, no particular pattern, just some holes so the water can flow through. And that's it for that part. Now you want to take your bucket, nice clean bucket, and you want to take the old pot with the holes you just punched in it and put it upside down in the bottom of your bucket, like so. And there's that part. The next part is to take your weed barrier or in my case, some very thick felt. Push it down inside, not completely around that bottom bucket, but at least to where it's touching the top of the bucket on the bottom, or the pot you just put in there. My helpers are standing on the felt. I just want to line the inside of your bucket. And then cut it My little helper's over there. Kept standing on it. So just want to take and push it in. Line your bucket. See? That's what the inside will look like. Touching the top of the pot you put in there already as a spacer. Now the only thing left to do is to add some dirt. Now you can just go to like King Soopers and get the topsoil bag, but I mixed some of my garden soil with some compost, and that's what I'm going to put in it today. So there we go. Got that all filled up to the top. The only thing left to do is to throw a plant in it. And I think we're going to do a tomato plant in this one. Let me go grab it. So here it is. This one is a Better Boy. Now it's already got flowers on it. Yes, it looks really sad at the moment, but that's just because it needs a drink. We're going to get this planted and we'll give it a big drink. I just want to make a decent hole. Let me take some of this out. Now with tomatoes, the deeper you plant them, the more roots they'll throw out. Because if you plant it like up to here on the stem, well, you can see that, there we go. Up to here on the stem, this whole part of the stem that's touching the dirt will throw out roots and give it more stability in your pot. Put too much dirt in, you're going to have to take some out. Okay, now, of course you want to give it a little rough up. Now normally I do my tomatoes by my secret way of planting. I didn't really feel like it this year. If you want to see that, see on how I plant them, go and watch the video called My Secret Way of Planting Tomatoes that's not so secret. So now we just want to put this in place and backfill. And then you have all this excess laying over the pot. Just to make it look a little better, just tuck it back behind. Or you could trim it off. I think I'll trim that piece off real quick. So that's all snug in there. And then I'll put a tomato cage over the top of this one. And this tomato is done. So let me grab the other pots and I'll show you one more time on how to build them with a different type of pot. Now these pots were from my clematis. Now you can use these pots, they'll work just the same. You want ones that are kind of sturdy, not so flimsy, because there is going to be a lot of weight and pressure on top of them. Now these, you could pop holes in them if you want to. Give me just a second, let me grab my stuff. Okay, with these pots, you can't quite set them the same way as you did with the first ones I showed you. The first ones were from a hanging basket. These ones we are going to lay just like this in there, because if you put them in there like this, they're just too tall. So we're going to lay them in the bottom of the bucket like that. Now these ones we're not going to pop holes in since it's sitting sideways. It has enough water flow area in it for that. Oh look! A spider! You see the spider? Just went in the crack. Oh, bless you, honey. Okay. Got distracted by a spider. So, let me grab the felt. We'll put the felt in here, and we'll see what else we're going to plant in here. Now again, if you don't have felt, like what I have here, just use weed barrier, or even an old sheet will work the same. Okay, I got that all cut. Again, you just want to lay it over the top and then push it in till you touch the pot on that you put in at the bottom. It's the water reservoir. My helpers. Is this something fun? Is this something fun? Yeah. Handsome boy. No, honey. Okay. Finish what we're doing. Push this all into place. And then we're going to fill it in with the compost and dirt mixture. This one's a little short, so let me run down and grab some more real quick, and I'll be right back. So there we go. We got it all filled up. There we go, that's a better shot. All filled up with our dirt. Now in this one, I'm going to be planting some sweet pea seeds. I've never done sweet peas in these before. My tomatoes and my pepper plants always go nuts in these pots. So I thought I'd give sweet peas a go in this, and I'll set a tomato trellis in here and just have it go nuts all the way up. So there's just one last step that you have to, well, you don't have to, but in my self-wicking buckets that I like to do. Give me a second. This is where the paddle bit, or the big drill bit, comes into play. Now, the reason why we put the pot at the bottom is so that it will hold water. And when you have a water reservoir in there like that, okay, now that the airplane went over, you won't have to water these nearly as much as normal. That's why I put that pot at the bottom is straight for a water reservoir. Now, the hole we're about to put in here, move some of this out of the way. Now the only thing you have to remember is how tall those pots sat in the bottom of your bucket. Now you want to leave a little bit of air space so you don't end up with rotten roots and your plants will end up dying. So you want to roughly remember or have an old pot handy, pop the hole there. I just want to make a big enough hole so that when you're watering, that's how you know that the bottom half is full, is you water it until the water comes out the hole. And I'll do the same thing with this other new pot. Again, you want to remember how tall your pot was in here, and then leave a little gap for air space so your roots don't rot. Now you could just do this with a regular drill bit, it would work all the same. Now my paddle bit is a little big. All you need is a big enough hole so the water will drain out and tell you that the bottom half is full. Now you could make these without the pot at the bottom and just put the dirt straight in there, but in my opinion, the dirt at the bottom ends up rotting out because it's always sitting in that water. Now you could pop the holes at the bottom, but when you do it this way, you have a whole water reservoir at the bottom. This whole half will be full of water, so you won't have to water it for like a whole week or more. So let me get these pots all situated. We'll plant some sweet peas, and I'll show you my other ones that I've already done. Okay, for this one, as I said before, we're going to try planting some peas. Now this one is a sugar daddy pea, and this one is just some from last year. It's a sugar snap pea. Now we're just going to take them and sprinkle them in no particular pattern. And we're going to do some of this one too. Just here and there, anywhere. Then we're going to cover the top of this with some more of that compost dirt mix or topsoil, whatever you happen to have. Just lightly cover it an inch or so, and then we're going to put a cage over the top of it. We're just going to use a regular tomato cage. Just want to push it down as far as it will go, and hopefully we'll get a bunch of sweet peas out of this one. We'll see how sweet peas do in these self-wicking buckets. I've never done that before, so this one's a little experiment. So, let me turn the camera around, move this one into a spot, and I will show you how we're going to water these. Okay, so I went down and got a big bucket of water. So, last year's, if you go back and watch the video of last year's self-wicking buckets, I put these pipes in all the way down to the bottom of the pot, or of the bucket, and I used to fill the bottom of the bucket up through the pipe. Now that's okay, but that's a little tedious trying to get the hose to fill up that hole all the way down. My helpers. I think I've got the cutest little helpers. Yeah. Anyways, got distracted by the pups again. But that was a little tedious and a little time consuming just to fill through the hose. Instead, I found out that it's easier to just straight pour the water in the top. And you keep pouring until it comes out the hole you made. Just like this. Now you'll hear it dripping down into the bottom, and you just want to keep filling until you see it come out that hole. So there you go. Now that tells you that the bottom reservoir is completely full of water. Now the good thing about that is I will not have to water this plant again for about another week. So, let me move the camera before it ends up soggy. So, that's how you water these new versions of the self-wicking bucket. A little simpler, a little more convenient, rather than trying to fill up that pipe. Now again, the reason why we put the old pot at the bottom is to make space at the bottom for a water reservoir. So that way you don't have to water them as much. Now the reason why you put the hole in the pot is one, so you don't waterlog your plant, and two, you put it just a little bit above your not above, below the pot inside to give you an air gap, so that way you don't end up with rotten roots. That's slowly trickling out. I'm going to water the rest of these self-wicking buckets real quick, and I will show you what all my plants look like. Oh, and if you are planting seeds like I did in this one, don't just dump the water straight inside. Use an actual watering can or the spray nozzle of a hose. You want to be a little more gentle so you don't wash away your seeds. So, let me water the rest of these real quick, and I will show you what they all look like. Got a toy? Let's do it, honey bunny. What's he got? Now, if you didn't know, these are my youngest pups. This one's Big Bear, and that one's Little Honey. She's the oldest of the two, and their mama is Daisy. If you go watch one of the trip videos, you'll see her in Daisy's adventures. But they're cute little boogers. I could just sit here and watch them all day. But anyways, let's get back to our self-wicking bucket video. No booger. So there are the two that you just watched me plant. They're all perked back up now, as you can see. They're doing good. That one's all watered, just waiting for stuff to sprout. But let me show you the ones I planted a couple weeks ago. Now, you saw how those ones looked that we just planted. Well, this was just like 2 weeks ago I planted this one in here, and you can see how much it's taking off. This is why I use these self-wicking buckets, because my tomatoes and my peppers just go nuts in them. Now this one is a Cherokee purple, and as you can see, it's already got some blooms on it. Also planted some garlic in with this one. And here's another one of my peppers. This one is a sweet banana. It's doing really good. Go down the line real quick. There's this one. This one is a lemon boy. And here's another one of my peppers. This is a poblano pepper. And then this one I planted yesterday. This one is another lemon boy. And then you saw the sweet gypsy and the better boy. Those are the two I just planted. So, I'll give you a quick look at them all up close. So there they all are. I hope you'll give this self-wicking bucket a try. I think they work amazingly. This is, I believe, my second year of using them. If you want to see how well they work, go back and watch some of my summer videos of last year. And I show them a lot. And my tomato plants were like bushes. That's why I put the cages on them this year. Normally I don't use cages, but I thought I would this year. And there's my little helpers. Having fun. Go, Bubba. Honey. But okay. Oh, and I'm also doing a little experiment. You see the way these tomatoes look in the self-wicking buckets? Well, I also have one planted in a regular pot. And we're going to see which one works better, the self-wicking bucket or a regular pot. So stay tuned for that. And you see it's got a bottom, so it's full of water too. So stay tuned to see how that one grows compared to the self-wicking buckets. So I hope you'll give these buckets a try. I think they work amazingly. As you can see, I have a whole line of them now. So thanks for watching Just What I Do Today. Leave a comment down below on if you've given these a try and any questions. I think they're awesome, and we're going to see how sweet peas do up in these self-wicking buckets too. So again, thanks for watching Just What I Do Today. Please subscribe, ring that notification bell so you get notified every time I post. I post twice a week. I post on Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays are my miscellaneous videos. You never know what you're going to get. Could be cooking, could be just a cute video of the pups, or could be building something. And then Friday is always my trip videos. Do a little bit of fishing and hiking and going on adventures, and I just bring you along. So again, for the third time, thanks for watching Just What I Do. Please subscribe and leave a comment down below on if you've tried these buckets and what you think of them. I'll give you little updates later on about how they're working and compare the planted tomato to the self-wicking bucket tomatoes. So again, thanks for watching if you made it this far. Hope you have a great day, and see you next time on Just What I Do. One last thing is, don't forget to find the hidden gray squirrel. He is in all my videos. If he's not, then check the comment section down below. It'll say if he's in there or not. So again, thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe, and see you next time on Just What I Do.